NASA's Deep Space Network DSN captured an unprecedented phenomenon. It was a signal, clear and meticulously deliberate, pulsing from the profound darkness between the stars.
For weeks, astronomers tracked a silent wanderer from beyond the stars, 3I Atlas. NASA released calm, measured reports, but behind those updates, something extraordinary occurred. Now, leaked data and a strange transmission have shaken the scientific world.
Oh, nice.
Yes, look at that bad boy.
This is a raw image.
Did 3I Atlas just send a signal back? And if so, who or what was it meant for? Join us as we uncover what this chilling discovery really means and why it has scientists terrified. The interstellar mystery. In a startling development from deep space, China's Tianwen-1 orbiter has captured the first-ever detailed images of the interstellar comet 3I Atlas, accompanied by a mysterious signal that has unsettled scientists around the world.
We've got some fresh images of 3I Atlas, a third-ever interstellar object observed from Earth.
Tianwen-1 was originally built to explore Mars, not to track faint interstellar objects. Yet, through meticulous adjustments and advanced simulations, its team reprogrammed the orbiter for a task once thought impossible.
A cosmic enigma defies odds and logic. China's Mars orbiter captures a rare glimpse of 3I Atlas.
Their success revealed a comet so dim, 100,000 times fainter than Mars, that no spacecraft had ever imaged it in such detail before. Hidden within the transmission data, however, was something no one expected. A faint rhythmic pulse that didn't correspond to any known background signal. At the same time, the comet's path began to drift slightly, indicating bursts of violent outgassing as it released mass into space.
We found in the gas around it, we found nickel without iron. Very little iron, mostly nickel.
NASA and the SETI Institute dismissed suggestions of an artificial origin, attributing the pattern to natural processes, though quiet debate lingered in research circles.
Even if it's just a small one, that the comet is artificially made, meaning it's alien technology.
CNSA confirmed the imaging breakthrough, describing how Tianwen-1's high-resolution camera captured a clear view of the comet's solid core, surrounded by a luminous halo of gas and dust. The images also revealed rare traits, a sharp anti-tail, and an unusual chemical composition, unlike anything seen in comets from within our solar system.
This comet's really cool because it does have that tail from the sun's radiation blasting it, but it also has a forward-facing tail.
As data spread through laboratories worldwide, the strange pulse continued to puzzle analysts. The signal appeared to repeat in sync with the comet's rotation, hinting at a structured source but too faint to classify with confidence. What makes this achievement even more extraordinary is that a direct mission to 3I Atlas remains beyond reach. A July 2025 study led by Atsuhiro Yaganuma concluded that any launch from Earth after July 1st would require a delta V of 24 kilometers per second, far beyond current propulsion capabilities. During the comet's closest approach between October 1st and 7th, Europe's Trace Gas Orbiter managed to capture it, while Mars Express failed due to shorter exposure times. NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter also gathered data, but its findings remain unpublished following the U.S. government shutdown.
We've had 20 of these shutdowns. It's often just political brinksmanship.
Across the solar system, other spacecraft brushed near the comet's path, but couldn't match Tianwen-1's vantage point. NASA's Psyche mission passed within 45 million kilometers on September 4th, and ESA's JUICE probe is expected to come within 64 million kilometers this November. Despite the risks of redirecting, JUICE will attempt a brief observation, with data expected to arrive on Earth in early 2026. The story continues into late October and early November, when NASA's Europa Clipper and ESA's Hera spacecraft may pass directly through 3I Atlas's ion tail. Scientists expect to record distortions in the solar wind and shifts in magnetic fields, data that could provide the first close look at the charged environment of an interstellar comet.
From images, we also saw that this object is active, which is an indication that this object is in fact a comet.
For now, the mystery persists. The signal detected alongside Tianwen-1's images remains undecoded. Whether it proves to be a natural rhythm, a magnetic echo, or something yet unimagined, it challenges the limits of human understanding. So, what exactly do scientists know about 3I Atlas, and what might it still be hiding? The Silent Traveler. When Comet 3I Atlas first appeared on telescope screens in mid-2025, it seemed like nothing more than another distant blur.
This is the first time something like that is observed, where there is a glow ahead of the object towards the sun.
Astronomers at the Atlas survey in Rio Hurtado, Chile, noticed a faint object gliding across the stars, quick, cold, and unlike anything familiar. Its motion was erratic, its speed extreme, and its path did not belong to the solar system. Before long, it became clear. This was an interstellar traveler, only the third ever seen, after the mysterious Oumuamua in 2017 and the icy wanderer Borisov in 2019.
How amazing is it that we humans have a word for something that literally flies between stars, and so far...
The object was officially logged on July 1st at magnitude 18. At that moment, it laid more than 3 astronomical units from Earth, racing inward at over 61 kilometers per second, about 140,000 miles per hour. Early observations placed it between Serpens Cauda and Sagittarius, cutting through the dense star fields of the galactic plane. For a brief time, the Minor Planet Center even listed it as a potential near-Earth object, until refined data confirmed it was not approaching Earth at all, but passing through the solar system on a hyperbolic course.
That's going to be barely inside the orbit of Mars, and then it's going to keep going on its way out of the solar system.
Follow-up detections came quickly. The Zwicky Transient Facility traced its path back into late June, and amateur astronomers uncovered even earlier images hidden within crowded regions near the galactic center.
The job is trying to unearth. It's all there. The universe is like sort of hiding in the darkness, and we have to bring it out.
By July 2nd, several observatories had confirmed a faint coma and a developing tail, proof it was a comet. The name followed soon after, 3I Atlas, marking it as the third known interstellar object. Within days, more than 100 observations from around the world filled the databases. Polarimetric studies revealed an unusually high degree of negative polarization, suggesting its dust contained both dark and icy materials rarely found in solar system comets.
This is an anti-tail. Usually we see dust and gas which are pushed away from the sun.
The Vera C. Rubin Observatory, still in its validation phase, recorded a steadily growing coma. Meanwhile, NASA's TESS satellite offered pre-discovery images from May, showing the comet already active at a distance where most remain dormant, a sign of exotic, volatile ices beyond ordinary water. At first, the situation seemed stable. JPL's early models showed that 3I Atlas would swing past Mars in September, loop around the Sun, and vanish back into the dark. It was expected to be a brief spectacle, scientifically valuable but entirely safe. Then, the orbit began to change. By August, new data showed subtle deviations. At first, they were dismissed as ordinary outgassing effects, jets of vapor nudging the comet's path. But the pattern didn't fit. The shifts were not random. They were consistent, small, and precise.
The comet is here, the sun sends the solar wind to the comet, the tail goes behind the comet.
In early September, Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb and his team published recalculations confirming what NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory was also seeing. The comet wasn't drifting freely. Its course was adjusting in deliberate, controlled increments, drawing it closer to Mars's orbital path. Each adjustment was tiny, measured in fractions of an inch per second. Yet across millions of miles, those small movements had major consequences. Instead of widening its distance from Mars, the comet's trajectory was tightening toward it. Outgassing alone could not explain the accuracy. Loeb called them fingerprints of control, comparing the changes to a spacecraft making calculated maneuvers with fine thrusters.
That is the best point, to have a maneuver, to use an engine that would either give a thrust.
Every updated projection brought the same result, the safe margin shrinking until it vanished. What had been a harmless encounter was now a potential impact corridor cutting straight toward Mars. And then came another enigma. The coma, the glowing envelope of gas and dust, showed patterns that defied known physics. By every standard, it should not have formed the way it did. Mars, once expected to witness a passing comet, now faced something far more uncertain and possibly far more extraordinary. Unusual space anomaly. A comet's coma, the glowing halo of gas and dust, forms as it nears the sun.
This atmosphere is called a coma. Radiation from the sun pushes some of this atmosphere into a long tail.
Normally, sunlight warms frozen ices, releasing gas that drifts outward to create a faint, steady glow. But 3I Atlas defied every rule. Data from NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter showed that its coma didn't grow gradually. Instead, it surged, doubling in brightness within weeks. At the same time, instruments detected sharp bursts of high-energy ultraviolet light, emissions no ordinary comet should produce. In known comets, venting stabilizes as they approach the sun. Their brightening evens out, their jets scatter, and the activity settles into rhythm.
This comet's really cool because it does have that tail from the sun's radiation blasting it, but it also has a forward-facing tail.
3I Atlas did the opposite. Spectrographs revealed massive carbon dioxide outflows at rates far beyond any previous record. Yet its nucleus stayed intact, as though moderating its own release. The jets erupted not at random, but in deliberate pulses, appearing synchronized. Each ultraviolet flare coincided with subtle course changes, aligning neatly with its shifting path toward Mars. To scientists accustomed to natural chaos, the precision was staggering. Two explanations emerged, both extraordinary. Either 3I Atlas was an entirely new class of interstellar comet, or it was something designed, an artificial object cloaked in ice, steering itself with bursts of gas like a machine in disguise. On July 16th, Avi Loeb and his colleagues from the Initiative for Interstellar Studies made their position public.
The plume of gas around it is mostly carbon dioxide, 95% by mass, based on the Webb telescope data.
In a paper posted on Archive, they argued that 3I Atlas might be a spacecraft rather than a comet. They pointed to its enormous size, unexplained gaps in its spectrum, and its near-perfect alignment with the solar system's ecliptic plane. The reaction was immediate. Astronomers such as Chris Lintott dismissed the claim, while Daryl Seligman, who led the first study of 3I Atlas, countered that telescopes had already confirmed classic cometary signatures. Observations from Webb, Swift, and the Very Large Telescope detected outgassing of familiar compounds: carbon dioxide, water, cyanide, and nickel vapor, all typical of natural comets. Still, the controversy would not fade. By mid-September, as the comet drew nearer to Mars, its behavior no longer resembled a drifting fragment of ice and rock. It moved with intent. Engineers studying the data found an unsettling pattern. The pulsing plumes matched the rhythm of attitude thrusters, the maneuvering jets used by spacecraft to adjust orientation. Over consecutive nights, the cycle stayed perfectly timed, each burst imparting a measurable push that narrowed the distance between 3I Atlas and Mars.
This is the trajectory right here. It's kind of close to Mars, but not really, but it's still pretty far away from Earth.
By mid-September, projections had turned grim. The estimated missed distance of 3I Atlas had collapsed from millions of miles to less than 50,000, closer than the orbit of Mars' own moons. On September 26th, it was expected to pass just 1.2 million miles from the planet, a dangerously narrow gap by cosmic standards. For perspective, Earth's moon orbits only 238,000 miles away, while Mars itself measures just over 4,200 miles across. On paper, the distance seemed safe. In practice, it was razor-thin. At that proximity, Mars's gravity could easily pull on the comet, changing its path ever so slightly. The risk was made worse by 3I Atlas's instability. Every 17-minute burst of gas shifted its motion, and each tug from the Sun, Jupiter, and Mars compounded the drift. What began as a routine flyby had become a fragile dance, where even the smallest force might decide everything. Revised calculations revealed just how delicate the situation was. A velocity change of 6 miles per second, a single strong outburst, could drive the comet straight into Mars. Between September 19th and 30th, it would pass almost perfectly along the planet's orbital plane. Any deviation during that window, no matter how small, could turn a near miss into an impact.
How amazing is it that we humans have a word for something that literally flies between stars, and so far...
If the rhythmic eruptions continued, the safe distance could shrink to under 30,000 miles, closer than Deimos, Mars' outermost moon. The potential consequences were enormous. Then, against all expectation, the comet steadied. One more powerful outburst could have sent it on a collision course, yet it suddenly held its pace, as if by choice. The danger faded, but the shock remained. Scientists could only wonder, what if this visitor from beyond the stars had struck Mars? Milky Way's greatest collision. The thought of a close encounter is unsettling, but the idea of a collision is beyond comprehension. Radar echoes and brightness data suggest that 3I Atlas carries a mass approaching 10 billion tons. Beneath its luminous coma hides a compact metallic core, roughly 1,300 feet wide, sheathed in layers of ice and dust. Images from the Hubble Space Telescope taken in July place its nucleus between 0.3 and 5.6 kilometers across.
We've got some fresh images of 3I Atlas, a third ever interstellar object observed from Earth.
The wide range reflects how heavily the core is veiled by a reflective haze, making it appear larger than it is. Early observations hinted at a size closer to 10 or even 20 kilometers, but most astronomers now favor the smaller estimate. For comparison, the asteroid that ended the age of the dinosaurs measured around 10 kilometers across. 3I Atlas is smaller, yet its immense velocity makes it a weapon of staggering force. Traveling at nearly 194,000 miles per hour, 10 times faster than a rifle bullet, it carries destructive power on a planetary scale. The Chicxulub impactor released the energy of 100 million megatons of TNT. A direct hit from 3I Atlas would unleash around 2 million megatons, less powerful, yet still thousands of times stronger than the largest nuclear detonation in human history. Observations by NASA's Swift Observatory once hinted at a 5-kilometer diameter, but that number likely overestimates its size, as much of the measured vapor comes from the coma rather than the solid core. The comet is a master of disguise, hiding its true form within clouds of dust and gas. James Webb's data from August provided sharper insight. The telescope detected 3I Atlas venting roughly 130 kilograms of carbon dioxide every second, along with smaller, steady flows of water vapor, carbon monoxide, and traces of carbonyl sulfide. The composition is strikingly reversed from that of typical comets. Halley's Comet, for instance, expels far more water than carbon dioxide. 3I Atlas does the opposite, water-poor but carbon-rich, a chemical fingerprint unlike any known object. Its coma contains ultrafine grains of amorphous ice, each less than a micron wide, formed in temperatures colder than ordinary ice can endure. These grains do not appear to evaporate directly from the surface. Instead, they seem to be hurled outward by violent gas eruptions, suggesting hidden reservoirs buried deep within the nucleus. The Very Large Telescope in Chile added another layer to the mystery. It recorded ultraviolet signatures of cyanide gas and, unusually, atomic nickel. Nickel itself has been found in comets before, such as Borisov, but its appearance without matching traces of iron is unprecedented.
Observing this rare comet that had water vapor in it.
Between July and August, both nickel and cyanide emissions increased as 3I Atlas drew closer to the Sun, yet the mechanism behind this imbalance remains unknown. Equally striking is what astronomers do not see. Typical cometary gases, atomic oxygen, dicarbon, and tricarbon, are missing. 3I Atlas is one of the most carbon chain depleted comets ever observed.
The plume of gas around it is mostly carbon dioxide, 95% by mass, based on the Webb telescope data.
Its carbon dioxide to water ratio is 8 times higher than expected, placing it among the richest emitters of carbon dioxide on record. Only one other object, Comet C 2016R2, shares a similar profile.
The comet's path will take it past even more of our robotic explorers.
Whether this composition reflects an origin in a carbon dioxide-rich region of space or an insulating crust that traps its water remains an open question. The comet rotates slowly, about once every 16 to 17 hours, though its thick coma obscures exact measurements. Its light fluctuates less as activity increases, suggesting that gas and dust are steadily cloaking its surface. Even its orientation in space is uncertain, with models disagreeing on where its poles point. But the greatest threat comes not from its slow spin, but from its immense momentum. A dense metallic body, wrapped in volatile ice and moving at extreme speed through Mars's orbital corridor, represents one of the most dangerous natural objects ever recorded. If 3I Atlas were to strike, the devastation would be beyond anything in human experience. The impact would gouge a crater 37 miles wide and more than 3 miles deep, larger than Los Angeles, deeper than the Grand Canyon. For scale, Arizona's meteor crater, formed by a 50-meter object, is less than a mile across. 3I Atlas would carve a basin rivaling the great scars that mark the moon's surface. The violence would not end there. The collision would vaporize rock and ice in an instant, blasting cubic miles of material into space. Mars' thin atmosphere would offer no resistance. Debris would rise into orbit, then rain back down in waves of molten dust. Some fragments would drift as a suffocating haze. Others would escape Mars entirely, hurled into the solar system. The consequences for exploration would be devastating. Rovers such as Perseverance and Curiosity could be buried or destroyed. Ingenuity's fragile flights would end instantly. Orbiters like the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, MAVEN, and ESA's Trace Gas Orbiter could be shredded by clouds of high-speed debris, severing communication between Earth and Mars. Decades of effort and billions of dollars could vanish in moments. The threat recalls the Shoemaker-Levy 9 event of 1994, when comet fragments slammed into Jupiter, leaving scars larger than Earth. That disaster was distant and safe to watch. 3I Atlas offers no such comfort. Mars is alive with active missions, and its orbital environment is fragile. A single impact could cripple exploration for years. The planet itself would change. Dust storms could blanket Mars for decades, dimming sunlight and plunging surface missions into darkness. Subsurface ice could flash to vapor, altering atmospheric chemistry and flooding sensors with false readings. Even the search for life could be disrupted as once promising regions are buried or sterilized by fallout. The danger extends far beyond Mars. Fragments flung into interplanetary space could scatter across the inner solar system. Some would spiral toward the Sun, while others might drift outward, crossing the orbits of Venus or Earth within decades. It evokes the memory of the 1908 Tunguska event, when a small celestial body exploded over Siberia, flattening forests for hundreds of miles. 3I Atlas is far larger, and though Mars may be the target, the ripple effects could threaten other worlds. For planetary defense experts, this represents the ultimate nightmare, an interstellar object, faster and more unpredictable than anything known, beyond the reach of standard strategies or models. With 3I Atlas, humanity faces a challenge for which no protocol exists. A close pass alone is cause for alarm, but an impact would reshape the destiny of more than one planet. Mars could be scarred for millennia, its exploration halted, its skies shrouded in dust, and the fallout might not end there. Earth, too, could inherit the danger, as fragments drift inward through the solar system. The last time an object of this scale struck a planet, it wiped the dinosaurs from existence. So when Mars appeared to be in its path, panic among scientists was inevitable. Yet 3I Atlas's strange propulsion wasn't the only cause for alarm. As it neared the red planet, it began to trace a chilling pattern across space, one that defied explanation. What was this pattern, and why did it terrify experts? Multidimensional map. As the danger window closed in, scientists dug deeper into the enigma of 3I Atlas.
3I Atlas. It does give scientists a rare chance to study something from beyond our solar system.
From orbit around Mars, ESA's Mars Express detected faint flashes above the planet, brief glints repeating across 3 consecutive passes. They formed a precise triangular pattern that held its position, behaving less like drifting debris and more like stations in formation. If these reflections were deliberate releases from 3I Atlas, the implications were staggering. While debate over their origin intensified, astronomers turned back to the object's roots. Its hyperbolic orbit and staggering speed confirmed it did not belong to the solar system.
It is only the 3rd time we have detected an object that has come from beyond our solar system.
Tracing its inbound path revealed it had entered from the southern sky, emerging out of Sagittarius, near the crowded heart of the Milky Way. That finding defied expectation. Most interstellar visitors arrive from the solar apex, the direction of the sun's motion through space. 3I Atlas came from the opposite side, suggesting that such travelers might be more common and far stranger than once imagined. Further analysis only deepened the mystery. The comet's motion carried it away from the galactic center at over 50 kilometers per second, tilted steeply above the Milky Way's plane. This path linked it to the galaxy's thick disk, home to ancient metal-poor stars. If the connection was real, 3I Atlas could predate the Earth itself. Some estimates placed its age near 14 billion years, making it as old as the galaxy it came from. A fragment of deep cosmic history had entered our solar neighborhood, silent and unknowable. As it drew closer to Mars, the phenomenon evolved. Amateur astronomers began reporting that its tail no longer fanned out in a diffuse glow. Instead, it divided into 3 narrow beams, radiating an eerie green light. At first, the effect was dismissed as image distortion, but independent observations soon confirmed the same pattern worldwide. Each beam pulsed in time with the object's 17-minute rhythm, brightening with every burst of activity. In long exposures, the streams appeared to align toward Mars, as though guiding the way. Comets sometimes emit color, but never with such precision or symmetry. The synchronization suggested structure, perhaps even control. If the object was artificial, or even partly engineered, those luminous streams could contain exotic materials, nanoscopic compounds, or unknown elements hidden beneath the ice. Researchers warned of a risk called forward contamination, the possibility that material from beyond the stars could seed Mars, Earth, or the inner planets with alien chemistry. The green beams were more than a spectacle. Their alignment implied navigation, their glow hinted at mechanisms beyond natural explanation, and their potential to scatter debris across the solar system expanded the threat from a single impact to a system-wide event. Whether 3I Atlas was an ancient relic behaving in ways beyond understanding, or something guided by design, one fact was clear. Its passage near Mars was not just another celestial encounter. It was a test of how humanity faces the unknown when it stops being distant and arrives at our very doorstep. NASA secrets and probe. In September, telescopes around the world locked onto 3I Atlas. Every pulse, every flare, every flicker of its strange green tail was tracked in real time. Streams of data poured in nightly, yet the world's space agencies remained silent. NASA released brief, cautious updates, describing it only as an object of interest. The European Space Agency published images without comment. Japan and China confirmed they were tracking it, but held no briefings. The calm felt unnatural. Behind the scenes, however, a far more urgent story was unfolding. Leaked reports later revealed that NASA had quietly reassigned the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, no longer a simple mapper, but a forward radar post. Its sensors were redirected toward the interstellar visitor. Goldstone's deep space antennas, normally reserved for communication, were repurposed to probe the comet's heart. Across Europe and Asia, emergency task forces met behind closed doors. Fragments of internal documents hinted at tense discussions once considered impossible. Planetary defense protocols meant for Earth were being debated for Mars. For the first time, scientists considered whether humanity should intercept or even destroy an interstellar object. The prospect bordered on impossible, yet ignoring it seemed just as reckless. Could 3I Atlas truly be natural, an ancient wanderer behaving in ways no one had ever seen? Or did its rhythm, its metallic echoes, and its structured outgassing point to something deliberately made?
Allowing nickel to outgas, while iron remained bound in the nucleus.
As the mystery grew, public pressure mounted. Representative Anna Paulina Luna called on NASA to release unreleased 3I Atlas data, citing growing concern over what the agency had not shared.
Representative Anna Paulina Luna sending this out earlier today, saying she just had a good conversation with NASA regarding 3I Atlas.
In an open letter posted to her official account on November 3rd, she urged NASA to make its full findings public, including images captured by the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter's high-rise camera. The instrument, she claimed, had recorded detailed views of the object's glowing halo as it passed near Mars in early October. Luna emphasized the importance of transparency, writing that such data were vital to advancing our understanding of interstellar visitors and their interactions with our solar system. She also requested that NASA extend monitoring to the Juno mission near Jupiter, using its full suite of instruments to examine the object's path and composition. The call reignited global interest. Social media buzzed with speculation, some scientific, some wildly imaginative. Reports surfaced of a sudden color shift. 3I Atlas, once green, now glowed a deep blue as it moved beyond the sun's far side. Observatories confirmed the change, linking it to surges in carbon monoxide gas. Its brightness increased sharply, making it appear bluer than the sun itself. NASA confirmed the comet would pass within 170 million miles of Earth, distant yet close enough to remain visible. Spain's Arnaves Observatory released new images showing the object stripped of its tail, an unusual sight for an active comet. Scientists raced to explain the shifts, while Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb pressed NASA to disclose all remaining data, warning that secrecy would only delay understanding of a phenomenon unlike anything observed before. Thanks for watching. Now check out the videos popping up on screen for more unbelievable stories.